Let us now take a look at a very important angakaryam, which is the substitution of lyap in place of the affix ktva. This sutram 7137 we have been using informally, so it's not entirely new to us. We have seen many examples of this in our daily posts. This is used in the language very extensively, so please make a special note of this sutram 7137, which reads samase nai purve ktvo lyap. And the Vritya Sutram says avyaya purva pade nai samase ktvo lyabadesha syat, which means that when the affix ktva occurs at the end of a compound, it is replaced by lyap, provided the prior member of the compound is a avyayam, a term which has the avyaya sanya, other than the particle nai. Compounding with the particle nai is prescribed by Panini by the Sutram 226, which itself reads nai. We will be studying this sutram in detail when we take a look at compounds. So for right now, let us just make a note of the fact that if the Purva Padam, the prior member of the compound, is this particle nai, then ktva is not replaced by lyap. There is a note here which says that anai kim akritva. In this form, akritva, compounding has been done with this particle nyai. In nyai, the ending nyakara is it by halantyam, takes lopaha by tasya lopaha 139, and the beginning nakaraha also takes lopaha by the sutram 6373 na lopo nanyaha. All these details we study when we take compounds. The important thing to note for now is that if compounding is done with the particle nyai, then the affix ktva at the end of such a compound is not replaced by lyap. Okay, there is another note here which says that as per 1156, sthanivadadesho nal vidhau, substitution lyap in place of the affix ktva inherits the property of being a kit affix, because the affix ktva is a kit. By sthanivad bhavaha, lyap also becomes a kit, and of course it gets the status of a affix, a pratyaya, because ktva is a pratyaya. Not only that, it is a krit affix, because ktva is a krit affix by 3193 kridating, so therefore lyap also inherits that property, and ktva is a affix which has a sign of ardhadhatukam by 34114 ardhadhatukam sheshaha, so substitution lyap inherits that property also. But important difference here is that after doing anubandha lopaha, removing the it letters, lyap is simply ya. Now ya does not begin with a letter of the val pratyahara, because the yakaraha is not in the val pratyahara. So after the ktva is replaced by lyap, you can no longer take the idagamaha. That's the good news, because idagamaha is only possible when the affix begins with a letter of the val pratyahara. So even though lyap does have the sanya of ardhadhatukam, there is no chance of a idagamaha. Okay, let's take an example here from the Bhagavad Gita. Drishtva tu pandavanikam vyuಢಂ duryodhanastada acharyam upasangamya raja vachanamab bravit. This is the second verse of the Gita. As already mentioned, this substitution lyap in place of ktva is a very common feature in the language. It's used many times in the Gita. So this example here is from the beginning of the Gita itself, the second verse. This form upasangamya is derived from the verbal root gam, gamnrgatau, which you know very well, preceded by the upasargaha upa and sam. There are three actions here. Drishtva, having seen. Then upasangamya, having approached. And finally abravit, he said. So since drishtva is a prior action, so is upasangamya. Therefore the affix ktva is used as per the Sutram 3421, which you already studied. Samanakritrikayoho purvakale. So we start the derivation with gam plus ktva by 3421, Samanakritrikayoho purvakale, because the action of approaching is an earlier action compared to the action of speaking, and the doer of the action is the same. So we have gam plus ktva. Now gam plus tva is compounded with the upasargaha upa and sam using the samasa vidhayaka sutram 2 to 18 ku gati pradaya. This sutram also we study in detail when we study compounds, so let's not delve too much into it right now. The important thing is that a compound is formed using this sutram ku gati pradaya 218. So now we have upa sam gam ktva. At this point now, since compounding has been done and the affix ktva is at the end of the compound, and in the prior member of the compound is a avyayam, we have upa plus sam, both of them have the avyaya sanya, and the avyayam is not the particle nyai, so all the conditions are satisfied for replacing the affix ktva by lyap. By 7137, samase nang purve ktvo lyap. And as per the Paribhasha Sutram 1155, Anekachit Sarvasya, the entire affix ktva is replaced by lyap. Now we remove the it letters. The beginning lakara of lyap gets the it sanya by the shakvatadjite, the ending pakaraha gets its sanya by halantyam and tasya lopaha. The beginning lakaraha is used only for the purpose of intonation in the Veda, swarartham. So it doesn't affect anything we do in the classical language, because in the classical language there is no intonation. The ending pakaraha is used to bring in the augment tuk by rasvasya pitikriti tuk 6171. In fact, we'll be seeing an example of that very shortly here. So that's the purpose of that ending pakara as it. So now what do we have? We have upa plus sam plus gam plus ya. Now at this point there is an optional operation which comes into play by the Sutram 6438, va lyapi, va lyapi. So that will be our next sutram here, so we can derive all the optional forms.